All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro coming at you on a Monday. Chris Wynn joining us as well. So glad you could join us. By the way, Seth Moulton, if you want to hear the latest on opinions of a congressman from Massachusetts who happens to be a war hero, he's going to be joining us. And a former presidential candidate as well will be joining us in hour number 2. So as we mentioned last week, Colin Kaepernick had this workout that was set up. And look, I've said all along I'm not a Colin Kaepernick guy. I've questioned him. I've questioned the timing of why he took a knee. I've questioned for months that I thought he hasn't done enough. If he really cared about the problem of police brutality and the way police treat minorities, I don't think he's done enough to solve the problem. I don't think taking a knee and donating money to charity is going to solve the problem. I've questioned him, and I've also said I don't think he's serious about getting back into the NFL because, quite frankly, he's profiting and making more money off the field. A lot of people have criticized me for those comments. Well, guess what? He made me look pretty good over the weekend because many of those that have supported him have now stopped. Let me explain. So he has this workout at this, or at least he was supposed to, at the facility where the Atlanta Falcons train. And 25 members, scouts from 25 different NFL teams showed up to this thing. So what does Colin Kaepernick decide to do? He decides to switch venues. Several hours before this workout, and he goes to a high school. And the reason why he said he did that, 2 reasons, because he wanted the media there, because now all of a sudden he cares about the media, even though for the last year or two he's done literally no interviews with the media. Now all of a sudden he cares about the media. That's number one. And number 2, something in the NFL contract, in the liability contract, he had an issue with, which is nonsense. So that's a joke. This is a PR stunt. And if he was truly serious about playing in the NFL, this would not have happened. So let me just start there. This is the thing that really gets my blood boiling, and I know there's plenty of African Americans out there that agree with me on this one. He decides to wear a Kunta Kinte shirt, okay? Roots to slavery. Let me be very clear with everybody. Colin Kaepernick has never been a slave. Has Colin Kaepernick possibly been the victim of racism? Sure, I'll buy that, absolutely. Colin Kaepernick, though, got a free ride at University of Nevada because of his football talents. He got a free education. Colin Kaepernick was an NFL player for plenty of years as a Super Bowl quarterback. He made millions of dollars. Colin Kaepernick is now making millions of dollars off the football field for taking a knee. Colin Kaepernick is a slave? Has Colin Kaepernick ever been whipped before or forced to do anything? Not that I know of. What I know about Colin Kaepernick is that he is a fraud. And the fact that he would wear a shirt like this, making a slavery reference. Imagine walking into a job office or walking into a job interview, because make no mistake about it, that's exactly what this thing was supposed to be over the weekend for Colin Kaepernick. It was supposed to be a job interview. And you wear a shirt like this one, a Kunta Kinte shirt, what would happen? You think you'd be hired? And I don't care if the boss that's interviewing you is black or white. Do you think they would hire you? Somebody? Of course not. And it leads me to 2 realizations, I guess you could say. Number one, as I said earlier, Colin Kaepernick does not want to go back into the NFL because he knows it's going to hurt his bottom line. He wants to be a martyr, so to speak. He wants to be in the public eye. He wants to remain in the public eye. So make no mistake about it. This was a PR stunt. There is no part of Colin Kaepernick, in my opinion, that would show me, based on his actions and behavior, that he wants back into the NFL. So that's number one. He's a liar and he's a fraud. And you're damn right, I am going to question him kneeling in the first place now because of this behavior. For those of you out there that are going to say, oh, you know what? I think he really cares about this issue. He really cares about police brutality. Then what good are you doing by wearing a shirt like that? You are hurting the cause, just like you hurt the cause when you wear a Fidel Castro shirt, just like you hurt the cause when you wear socks depicting all police officers as pigs. You are hurting the cause, and people aren't going to take you seriously. And right now, moving forward, nobody should take you seriously, Colin Kaepernick. So that's number one. Number 2, he is an ignoramus. He is a dummy. How dumb are you, Colin Kaepernick, to wear a shirt like that? What were you thinking? And don't you give me this excuse or nonsense that there were people that were, on your team that told you to wear the shirt. You are your own man. You are an adult, and you wore that shirt. You are a dummy. And I've said it all along. This is a man that has a very low IQ. I've interviewed him before when he was in college, and I said, wow, that guy really struggles. This guy is not very educated. Okay, so that's how I feel about this. But Chris, I know you're chomping at the bit, so I'll get to you in a second here, but I want to play a little bit of audio first. Let's start with Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. Smith is one of Colin Kaepernick's biggest supporters. He's always been one of Colin Kaepernick's, biggest supporters, Stephen A. Smith. He's a nationally syndicated show, so a lot of people respect his opinion, and he's very opinionated. Well, even Stephen A. Smith turned on Colin Kaepernick. He went on social media immediately. I'm just going to play you a little small clip of what he had to say. Here's Stephen A.
You don't want to work. You just want to make noise, and you want to control the narrative. It's over. Colin Kaepernick's aspiration in the NFL for an NFL career. It's over. Talk to y'all Monday on First Take.
He's talking a lot about it this morning as well. So that's Stephen A. Now, you've had a really bad day, and you did something really wrong when the double murderer himself, O.J. Simpson, is talking crap about you. Yeah, even O.J. put up a clip on Twitter. Here's what O.J. Simpson had to say in his latest tweet about Colin Kaepernick.
Hello, Twitter world. Yours truly. Before I talk about football, I'll do that later today. Let's talk about a couple of things that happened yesterday. One, Colin Kaepernick. I was encouraged when I heard he was going to get this tryout. I figured he could get back in the league, but don't feel that way today. When you're being interviewed for a job or getting a job tryout, you don't come out swinging, and you do it on the employer's terms, not on your terms. Seemed a little angry yesterday. Today, I'm not encouraged.
All right, so that was OJ's comments in regards to Colin Kaepernick. I think this guy is a true fraud. If any thoughts in my mind that he actually cared about this issue, his actions and behaviors speak otherwise. He really made himself look like a complete fool over the weekend. Not only do I believe now that he doesn't deserve to be back into the NFL because of his behavior, not because of his talents. Not only do I think the media should stop caring about him and stop talking about him. I think he is an absolute fraud. He is a liar, and he wouldn't take any questions from the media, even though he switched properties, claiming that was the reason why he did this at a high school. He wouldn't take questions from the media. He just went on an angry minute-and-a-half rant. And what owner? Explain to me what owner of it. I hope nobody signs him, by the way. What owner out of an NFL team is going to take a shot with this guy wearing a Kunta Kinte shirt? Chris, go ahead.
So Brian is extremely angry campaign.
Because
okay?
he's a jackass.
And Brian is, you're using words like fraud.
He's
and
a fraud.
He's a liar.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, there's so much to chew on in what you just discussed there for the last 5 minutes. I think there's a couple things here. Let me start off by saying this. I've been someone who has been supportive of Colin Kaepernick, no question. Okay? I want to start off by saying that I thought it was absolutely foolish of him to sport that T-shirt yesterday in what was, by all intents and purposes, a job interview to get back in the NFL. I thought that was bad. I also thought it was bad when he wore the socks depicting police officers and cops as pigs. I also thought it was bad when he wore a T-shirt with a murderous dictator from Cuba in Fidel Castro on his body as well, too, back then. That being said, there's a couple things we need to separate here, all right? And when you're making sweeping statements like he's a fraud and that he is a liar, all right, you're directing that towards what his intentions are now as far as getting into the NFL. And I would agree with that when it comes to him wanting to get back playing football. It appears now, at this point, that Colin Kaepernick, that's not his main intention. It appears now that he is about attention for himself and about, and about bringing pity on himself. But in my opinion, that does not change the original intent of bringing a spotlight on social injustice and law enforcement back then, okay? And it doesn't change the fact that...
Have you ever heard of the word credibility?
Absolutely.
What is that? This man has zero credibility.
You're gonna chime in and just not let me finish.
Go ahead.
I'm talking about the reasoning behind why he was not able to get a job in the NFL back then. Okay, I'm not talking about this.
How about because he's an
sham
idiot?
Of a workout. It was a sham of a workout. Okay,
he's a
this
sham
last
of a
Saturday
person.
Was ridiculous.
He's
the circumstances that went down was ridiculous. Okay, you don't change the workout. What? By the way, what OJ said in the extended part of what he talked about was actually true about Colin Kaepernick. As far as like, it doesn't look like he wants to play in the NFL. Stephen A. Smith exactly the same as well too. It looks like Colin Kaepernick's intentions are not to play football.
That's what you call fraud.
That doesn't have anything to do with whether or not social injustice is something that we okay wait so you're telling Brian, are you trying to tell me that there's no credibility in the actual fact that there's social injustice in law enforcement and that it's an actual issue? Right. Because let me tell you something, it's not just Colin Kaepernick that feels that way. There's a number of NFL players around the league.
Okay, let me respond to what you just said.
That's my whole point, though. You do have to separate the two.
Okay, here's what I am saying here. Obviously, there are injustices in our society with racism and in some specific circumstances, the way law enforcement treat minorities.
And there was legitimacy to bringing that spotlight on that.
Okay, hold on. I have never doubted that, and I'm not one of those people that would doubt that. My point that I have made all along about Colin Kaepernick is that he's a fraud for this reason. First of all, I question the timing of when he decided to take a knee, number one. Also, what has he done to fix this problem? What are his solutions? Besides attacking police officers and wearing the pig socks, besides taking a knee in games, he hasn't gone to Washington and spoke to law enforcement. He hasn't done that. He hasn't spoke to law enforcement. He hasn't spoke to politicians. He hasn't done hardly anything to actually work on trying to solve the problem. And if you're one of those people out there that doesn't think that there were issues between minorities and law enforcement, then you're very complicit. So taking a knee, I don't understand what that does. Some racist in Alabama, oh, wow, Colin Kaepernick took a knee. Maybe he's right. Maybe there are issues between law enforcement. No, that's not the way it works. Either you believe there are issues or you don't think there are. Just raising the issue doesn't get anything done. And the fact that, and I go by his behavior by calling him a liar and a fraud. And we got to take a break. We got to take a break. When we come back, we will take your phone calls on this. I believe that Colin Kaepernick is a fraud. I believe that he is a liar. I don't believe he deserves a shot now back in the NFL after wearing this Kunta Kinte shirt, okay, in regards to slavery. So I ask this question to you callers out there. Do you believe now that Colin Kaepernick deserves another shot in the NFL after what happened? The number to call, 257-5396. Again, if you want to be a part of the conversation, give us a call right now. What do you think about this Colin Kaepernick situation, wearing a shirt, a slavery shirt, basically?
It's a loaded question, though. Okay, I know we're going to a break real quickly, but
I have 5 seconds.
Deserves. I mean, that's a wrong way to put it.
Well, that's the way I'm going to put it to our callers.
It's a terrible way to put it,
257-5396. We got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. This is the Vegas Take. All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro. Obviously, we're discussing myself and C-Win discussing Colin Kaepernick, the situation over the weekend where he wears a Kunta Kinte shirt. I don't know how anybody could defend that, and I haven't heard anybody defend it, by the way, unless you're a complete buffoon. You're not going to defend wearing a shirt like that to a job interview. He is an absolute moron as far as I'm concerned, and he's not very intelligent. I would love to know what he got on his SATs. Well, he was a star football player in high school. Maybe he cheated. I don't know. But anyway, we're taking some of your phone calls, 257-5396.
Well, if you're calling him a moron, by definition, he wouldn't be very intelligent. So that was a double slam on your part.
That is very true.
And just quickly to clarify, when I mentioned, I said that, you're using words like, do you deserve to get back in the NFL, Brian? What I was trying to say is that, look, it's not about him deserving a chance. It's whether, I mean, I guess.
Now it is. Now it is.
No, because the question should be, are NFL teams, should NFL teams take a chance on him?
Chris, if you show up to a
it's not deserve,
Chris,
though. Deserve would say that he's a criminal. Deserve would give, you are insinuating.
All right, I get your point, Chris.
That he's done something illegal or something, or for some reason he should not be allowed to play. That when you're saying deserve,
I get your point.
You don't think he should be allowed to be on the field.
If C-Win, if Colin showed up to a job interview, or anybody for that matter, with a boss for an office job, and he wore a Kunta Kinte shirt, I would say that guy doesn't deserve to be hired. There's no different here. That is the point I'm trying to make. It is inappropriate and horrendous judgment to wear a shirt like that to a job interview. I don't know what point you don't get. What do you not understand about that?
I hear what you're saying.
He doesn't deserve another shot.
I think you're being a little. There's a little full outrage on your part here.
No, it's not.
A t-shirt.
This was complete. No, it's not. This was premeditated. He didn't just find a shirt in his closet that was clean. Okay, like I do every day.
Look, I agree that it was bad judgment on his part. I don't know why you're attacking me as if I'm
then he doesn't deserve it. Well,
I'm
sorry. Okay, let's take some calls. 257-5396 is the number to call.
You're making the extension that you're making that stretch that he doesn't deserve to be a player. I'm saying that.
Well, let's take some phone calls. Let me give out that number again. 702-257-5396. What do you think? Do you disagree? Do you agree with me? What do you think about Colin Kaepernick? Let's go to Bill. Bill, you're first up on the Vegas Take. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
Good morning. How's everything today?
Good, Bill. What do you think about this?
Okay, if you're going to go to an interview, you have to play the part. If he wore his college shirt or a football shirt or just a shirt with numbers on it, that's fine.
Sure.
To wear something like that on an interview, because that's exactly what it is, I'm going to have to agree with you on this one, because who in the right mind is going to go into an interview? Like if I was going to interview for your station,
right.
am I coming in a ripped jeans, shorts,
yeah.
or a ripped shirt? No, I'm going to dress in a nice shirt, nice pants, nice shoes.
Of course.
Okay? And for him to change the venue, we all know why the venue was changed. He didn't want to sign the, which from what I understand, when you go for any open interviews or any practices or something like that, if you hurt yourself, you can't sue the NFL.
Right.
And that's
he wanted to do everything on his terms. He wanted to do everything on his terms because he's a selfish moron. That's why. And he did it as a PR stunt. He is an absolute fool, Bill. Very good call, and I agree with you.
Not for nothing, if he, like you guys said just before the break, if he was so against police brutality and you were so impassioned by it, why is it that you did it the whole entire football season? As soon as the football season had stopped, didn't hear the word boo from you at all.
Yeah. No, you're right, Bill. You made a lot of good points. Listen, Bill, listen, you and I are on the same page on this one. There's no doubt. Good phone call. 257-5396 is the number to call. 257-5396. Let's go to Troy. Troy, you're next up. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's a PR stunt. He doesn't think he's going to get back in the NFL. He's doing this just so that he can say, look, I went and did my part, and he fulfilled his destiny by setting it up the way that he did, changing everything and then wearing that T-shirt is ridiculous.
Hey, Troy.
He's flat out getting back in.
And Troy, all the and I agree with you, all the people out there that have defended this guy and all the people out there that are making him out to be a hero and all the people out there that are saying, oh, my God, the NFL is after him. He's been blackballed and they won't let him back in the league. All the guy wants to do is play football. Guess what, Troy? That is down the toilet now. You cannot say that now, can you?
No, not at all. And he wants that to be the case. He just made it so that now he's going to say, look, I did my part and they freaking blackballed me again. It just continues, and it's just a bunch of bullcrap. It really is.
It really is, Troy. I agree with you. Well stated, and I'm sorry. Hey, listen, maybe there's people out there that are still going to defend this guy. Please, defend the Kunta Kinte shirt. Please, I would love to hear that argument. Defend that shirt that he decided to wear to a job interview. Are you kidding me? 257-5396 is the number to call again if you want to be a part of the program. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Marge. Marge, you're next on the Vegas Take. What do you think of this?
I think that this is reminiscent of AB all over again. This is like a spoiled 10-year-old acting up. And, he was a child of privilege. He was adopted by white parents. He was given all the opportunities in the world. He was never maligned. And I think part of this is he could have had an agent that is saying, hey, you better do something soon because your relevance is starting to wane.
Yeah.
He's making money on the side through other venues, basically. And maybe his agent is getting concerned that he can't drum up, anything more for him, so he's got to come out.
Yeah.
That shirt, I mean, if he's going to wear a shirt, why doesn't he do for one of the rock groups or something that wouldn't be so controversial?
You make a good point, though, Marge, and it's not something, Marge, that I've brought up a lot here, but you make a very valid point. And I'm not saying that he's never been the victim of racism before. I've never made that statement, but let's make no mistake about it. This is not a man that was brought up in the hood, okay?
Correct.
This is not a man that was brought up with a poor family or raised by one parent.
Exactly.
Many African Americans that struggle every day, there are a lot of reasons for it, but a lot of them are brought up in poverty, I would imagine. Maybe they don't have the best family. Colin Kaepernick is not that guy. So forget about even slavery, him making the reference of slavery with the shirt he wore. Stop even making the reference of the horrible atrocities that he claims have happened to him. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. Am I saying that he's never been the victim of racism? No, I wouldn't say that. But he is making it out to be like he has been such a victim his whole life. He got a free education at University of Nevada, Reno, okay? Then he made millions of dollars in the NFL, and now he's making more millions of dollars trying to be a martyr, and he is a fraud, Marge. And thank you for calling in as always. It's always good to hear. Always good to hear from you, Marge. Thank you for the phone call. 702-257-5396, the number to call. Again, it's 257-5396. Why don't we go to Chuck? Chuck, you're next on the Vegas Take. Go ahead.
Yeah, since Nike wields so much power in the NFL, do you think Nike might have been behind this stunt?
That is a very, very good question, Chuck.
since he works for him,
Yeah, no, I understand. Listen, the answer is I don't know. Here's what I think, Chuck, and then you could tell me if you agree or not. I think that this has been a mastermind plan for Colin Kaepernick off the field. Maybe when he decided to take a knee, he didn't think it'd go this far. I do believe that.
Whoa. Now you're saying it's a mastermind plan,
explain
but you
why
just
I feel
called
that
him
way.
a moron 16 times.
Well,
so
you can be a moron and
is it?
still be selfish. You could be a moron and still want to make money. When you could be a moron and be Colin Kaepernick and still, we've all called Donald Trump a moron before. Doesn't mean he's not calculated and makes good decisions that help himself. This is the same thing with Colin Kaepernick. So Chuck, you tell me if you agree or disagree with this, and then I'll ask you the same question. Okay? I believe when he started to get all this media coverage, when his career was going down the toilet and he was a backup quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and when he started to get all this media attention, he said, maybe I could do something with this. And then he started to, raise a ruckus about it. And then all of a sudden he gets paid by Nike, like you mentioned, Chuck, and he's making millions of dollars off the field. I believe this is all premeditated, and now it's continuing.
Wait a minute, he got the Nike deal way after he was already out of the league.
I understand that.
That was just a situation where Nike took advantage of the spotlight on him.
I understand.
So let's not make this something that's conflated with his NFL career. It has nothing to do with it.
It's conflated with him taking a knee. If he doesn't take a knee, he doesn't get a contract with Nike.
No, it was conflated with him being the face of that issue.
If
right?
he doesn't take a knee, he doesn't sign with Nike, period.
Why are you bringing in the taking the knee thing? The taking the knee thing is something that was adopted by hundreds, maybe even thousands of NFL players. A lot of NFL players have done exactly the same thing.
No, they haven't.
Colin Kaepernick. They haven't?
Let me explain.
You're telling me NFL players weren't out there taking a knee?
Let me explain.
Like Colin Kaepernick
If you
was.
let me explain, I will tell you.
Explain it.
There are many other players out there that have taken a knee, but they're not like Colin Kaepernick. You know why? Many of these NFL players have gone to Washington. Many of these. Hold on, let me finish.
We're talking about taking the knee.
Don't you compare these other NFL players to Colin Kaepernick because you're wrong. Just because they take a knee.
I'm not comparing them. I'm talking about the actual, taking a knee. That caused, by the way, that's caused this
Let's
entire
let Chuck
controversy.
Respond. Okay, Chuck, go ahead. Respond to what we're talking about here. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think this is like the timing and everything. I think there's somebody else pushing this, and I think it's Nike.
Well, I mean, you might be right, Chuck, and I appreciate the call. I sorry, Chuck, I got to get some other callers. Listen, you might be right on this one. I believe that there might have been some handlers, maybe some Nike people, maybe some agents that got together and said, "Colin, how do we exploit this? How do we get our name out there?" By the way, the number to call is 257-5396. Again, that number 702-257-5396. There could have been people around Colin, but listen, Colin Kaepernick is an adult. Okay, he can make his own decisions. Nobody forced him to wear that shirt. Nobody forced him to wear a Kunta Kinte shirt, a slavery shirt. Nobody forced him to do that. He decided to do it himself. He made that decision. He's a grown man, and it was ludicrous, and it was ridiculous, and he is a fraud, and I am sticking by my guns on that one.
But as to the timing, though, of this workout, we do have to be intellectually honest here as people who follow the NFL and follow football. It is also because, look, there's been a number of injuries. It's a football thing, too, also. Okay, there's been a number of injuries in the NFL. Teams need quarterbacks, so that is that's a big reason why. Look, it's not just magically appear that Colin Kaepernick said, you know what, I need to go out and have a workout this weekend. Okay, there's a reason behind it because there have been so many quarterback injuries in the NFL, and so some teams that's a position that they need. And so there is an aspect of that to it also. Yeah. I get what you're saying as far as it looks shady, as far as it looks like he's trying to bring more attention or try to bring the spotlight back onto him.
It is shady.
But there
look shady. It is shady.
But the point I'm making, though, is there still is a football aspect of this.
Not anymore.
Okay,
not anymore.
Well, there was.
Not
there
anymore.
was
not anymore.
There wasn't Thursday and Friday when
not
NFL
anymore.
teams were talking about
it's not Thursday or Friday.
Their
not
quarterback
anymore.
situations.
Not
and that
anymore.
We would think about signing this guy.
Not anymore.
Well,
maybe it's not Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, but you're talking about after what happened on Saturday, which was a debacle. Okay, no question. It was a debacle.
All right, let's take some more phone calls. 257-5396 is the number to call. Why don't we go to Steven? Steven, you are next on the Vegas Take. What do you make of all this?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Steven.
Well, I'd like to expound a little more on my efforts on the Brian Kilmeade show at about 8:30. Anybody that was listening heard me on for about 10 seconds.
I'll give you 20 if you can make your point. Go ahead.
I definitely can make the point.
Please do.
Saturday was a very important day, and Colin, if you're out there and you need help with your new discrimination lawsuit, I'll be happy to help you.
So you're supporting him wearing a Kunta Kinte shirt?
Saturday, if I can get a sentence.
Well, I'm waiting. I've given you 20 seconds. You haven't. With all due respect, Stephen, let's get right to the issue, okay? Do you hold on? Do you defend him wearing a Kunta Kinte shirt? Would you defend him for wearing that shirt?
Is he required to wear a K-Don T-shirt?
Nothing. That is a completely ridiculous statement. I asked you a very specific question.
Let me explain to you why it's important before you cut me off and tell me how stupid I am.
Excuse me, I haven't called you stupid, but I am asking you to answer a question. Do you defend him wearing a Kunta Kinte shirt in a job interview? It's a yes or no question.
What he wanted to wear.
So you're defending him. Okay, bye-bye. Goodbye. I gave you 30 seconds. I'm not going to get into an argument with an ignoramus who thinks it is okay to wear a Kunta Kinte shirt to a job interview. I am not going to hear you out. If you said no, I don't defend it, that I would have let you continue. I'm not going to have a argument on the air with somebody who thinks that is okay. That is ridiculous. What's next? Are we going to be okay wearing white power shirts to a job interview? It's a joke. 257-5396. Let's go to Greg. Greg, you're next.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, Greg. What's on your mind?
Oh, well, just hearing that, I guess he was an attorney, that pissed me off. Some fears making it okay to wear that to a job interview.
Ridiculous. He compared that, Greg, to wearing a KDWN shirt.
That's ridiculous.
It's absurd.
The people we have in this country right now are so illiterate. They are so stupid. America's gone to shit because they hate
Watch the language.
Trump.
Watch the language.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right.
They
Go ahead.
hate Donald Trump. So, like Colin Kaepernick, he's going to take a knee, and everybody is going to defend him, or they're going to get.
Well, listen, I hate Donald Trump.
I think you're oversimplifying the entire situation.
Greg, as you know, Greg, I dislike Donald Trump.
I don't like Donald Trump either.
I dislike Donald Trump for a lot of different
reasons.
It doesn't make me an ignorant person. I also dislike Colin Kaepernick. I think they are both disingenuous people. I think they are both frauds.
They are.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump, I'm going to be honest with you, he's done a lot of good. He can be an a-hole, but.
Well, Colin Kaepernick's donated a lot of money. Colin Kaepernick's donated a lot of money to a lot of charities. He's done some good, too. Doesn't mean we can't call them disingenuous. Doesn't mean we can't call them frauds or liars. I think they're both liars.
When you're supporting an NFL team and you take a knee upon the American flag, upon the national anthem, and you cross your arms, that is fully disrespect. I lost respect in the NFL. I lost respect for all football. I have not watched football since, and I will not.
We can go on for days about that. I'm a veteran, and there's a lot of veterans. Well, exactly. There's a lot of veterans out there that would absolutely disagree with you. Look, it's about the motivation. It's about the reasoning behind the taking the knee, okay? And it's not about disrespecting the military, which I am former military. It's not about disrespecting our servicemen and women who serve this country. It's about bringing a spotlight on social injustice and law enforcement. That is why the NFL players were taking the knees back the last 3-4 years ago.
But that is a different conversation, and I actually agree with you on that. It's not. I don't have a problem with taking the knee.
You're agreeing with me because I'm right.
But here's what I have a problem with. I have a problem with his behavior after taking the knee. Some of the things he's done off the field and what he did over the weekend.
I'm not going to make excuses for stupid things that he does.
And if the NFL says, Colin or whoever, you cannot take a knee anymore because we believe it's hurting our product. They're the bosses, and they have a right to tell you cannot take a knee. And if you don't like it, then go earn your paycheck somewhere else. Guess what? That's how this country works. Okay? If they give
you're oversimplifying.
No, I'm not oversimplifying.
Yes, you are. Yeah, because first of all, you're saying the NFL. It's the NFL teams that make the decision.
Excuse me.
It's the owners that make the decision.
If they don't want you to take a knee,
every individual owner makes their own decision.
What part of that do you not understand? If they don't want you to take a knee,
you're just making a statement that's not correct.
Okay, so you're telling me.
You're saying the
hold on
NFL.
a second. You're telling me in the workplace, if you're doing something that they think is hurting the company, they don't have the right to tell you to stop.
I'm saying you're oversimplifying this situation regarding Colin Kaepernick and other NFL players, by the way.
Let's take some more phone
You're
calls.
oversimplifying.
All right. Well,
okay?
we're going to agree to disagree on that one. 257-5396, the number to call. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Brady. Brady, you are next on the Vegas Take. Go.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. I wanted to bring up Colin Kaepernick. He was the first one to kneel.
Yes, he was.
And that's what started all the kneeling. And what he said along with it is what pissed off pretty much all America, because he said America has never been great and will never be great.
Well, I don't agree with that. Listen, I don't agree with his statement there, Brady, but here's where I think we're going to disagree. And you could tell me if you think I'm wrong here. I don't have a problem with him taking a knee. I have a problem with his behavior after taking the knee, like the Fidel Castro shirt, like the pig socks, like the Kunta Kinte shirt he wore. It shows you a pattern of behavior that he is an ignorant fraud. Okay, now as far as taking the knee goes, let's go back to that, Brady. Listen, if the NFL said it was okay, then I don't think he's doing anything wrong. He could take a knee in his front lawn. He could do whatever he wants to in private. He has the right to protest and do what he wants to do. But when he's getting a paycheck from the NFL and the owners are saying this is bad for our league, we have to police this and do something about it, you can't do it. That's what people don't understand, and that's what I'm trying to explain to Chris. But Brady,
no. Let me get this straight though. I've always pointed this out, and people that have been blasting him for taking a knee have never given me a straight answer or a reason why. Okay, I have pointed out this. Okay, if it is such a horrible thing, if it was something that was so bad, taking a knee, then how come Colin Kaepernick has been the only one that's faced any type of reprimand? Okay, there have been thousands of NFL players who took a knee in the past 3 to 4 to 5 years, okay? They haven't been punished the way that Colin Kaepernick has. That just destroys your whole argument that, in the NFL, you can't...
Who's taking a knee this year? Who's taking a knee this year?
This year, it hasn't been a focus.
Do you know why? Do you know why they haven't
done it?
Hold on. Okay, let me give you the facts.
So
do you know why?
What does this year have to do with it, Brian? I'm talking about the last 3 or 4 years.
I'm explaining to you why people have stopped taking a knee.
Okay, Brian, have thousands of NFL players not taken a knee the past 3 or 4 years?
They have, but the NFL has implemented new rules. Are you unaware of that?
What? But no, we're talking about. I'm asking you the question about why has nothing happened to those players that took the knee back then?
I will explain to you why.
Colin Kaepernick has been reprimanded. He's been vilified.
I will explain to you why.
He has been absolutely destroyed just for that taking the knee part, not for all the actions afterwards that were stupid. I'm talking about the actual
There's a lot of
kneeling
different
that Colin Kaepernick started.
What you're saying.
He's the one that faces consequences. No other NFL player has.
The reason why is because a lot of people see him as a negative. A lot of owners see him as all talk, and a lot of people see him as a negative as far as ticket sales could hurt their bottom line. A lot of these other players have taken a knee,
the question again.
But they're not out there.
What happened to the other NFL players?
Because a lot of these other NFL players are not speaking out and talking in the tone that Colin Kaepernick does. A lot of these players have not wore Fidel Castro shirts, have not wore
It's a cut and dry thing now, Brian. They're kneeling or not kneeling.
I gave you my answer. It's a lot more than kneeling. 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Sean. Sean, you're next on the Vegas Take. Go ahead.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Good. Go ahead, Sean.
Good. I was going to say about the taking the knee thing. I'm sorry to keep driving that home, but I feel like there's a double standard with because when I forget what year it was, back when Tim Tebow took his knee in a protest towards abortion, nothing really came of that. But then, a couple years later, Colin Kaepernick takes the knee, and then, we have. I mean, I understand what you're saying, the actions afterwards, but, it was a big thing when he was taking the knee, when Tim Tebow took the knee.
I don't have a problem with him taking a knee. I never was insulted by him taking a knee. I think the American flag is a personal thing, just like religion, and nobody should tell you what the flag should mean to you, and I get sick and tired of people calling in saying that. I kind of agree with you, Sean. Again, my problem isn't taking the knee. Let me ask you a question, Sean. Are you an African-American, if you don't mind me asking?
Sir.
Okay,
yes,
perfect,
sir.
Sean. Then you're the perfect person for me to ask this question to.
Okay.
Do you think Colin Kaepernick has actually done enough to solve this problem? And the reason why I asked that question is there are other NFL players that have gone to Washington and spoke to politicians that have taken a knee. There are other NFL players that have spoken to law enforcement. Colin Kaepernick hasn't done any of that stuff. In fact, he's profited more off the field than on the field because of this issue. Now, he has donated to charity, but that's not going. We know that is not going to solve this problem. When you throw money at a poor community.
Well, you're making a judgment, though, based on what you think Colin Kaepernick should do, though.
I'm sorry,
You're
Sean.
making your judgment, Brian.
Go ahead, Sean. What'd you say?
No. He did have a thing where he started a class for young African American males that basically on how you should act whenever you get pulled over. He did,
and I can appreciate that, but what has he done with law enforcement? What has he done with politicians to try to change laws that are on the books?
Yeah, that's a whole nother monster that you got to. You got to attack from a whole.
But you understand why I'm asking you that, right? I mean,
I completely understand because I know. Like I called in a couple weeks ago. I've been on the other end of not police brutality because I always comply. But,
sure. And listen, I'm glad, and I wish everybody would take classes like that. But, and by the way, Sean, good to hear from you, and I do appreciate the phone call. But, my opinion's not going to change on Colin Kaepernick now. I don't care what the hell he does in the future. I think he's a fraud. He's a liar. And what he did wearing that shirt over the weekend speaks volumes about his character and his seriousness about getting back into the NFL. Let's try to get to another call at 257-5396. Let's go to George. We lost George. We lost George. Let me give out that number again. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. We're talking about Colin Kaepernick. The Kunta Kinte shirt that he wore over the weekend, to me, speaks volumes about his character, speaks volumes about what he was actually trying to accomplish. And make no mistake about it, It is obvious beyond belief of what Colin Kaepernick was trying to get out of this workout. He wants to stay relevant. He wants to stay in the news. It was a PR stunt and nothing more, nothing less. That's exactly what it was. He wouldn't answer questions from the media, even though he claimed he went to this high school complex for 2 reasons. 1, so that the media could be there, and number 2, because he had a problem with some sort of liability thing in his contract, which is absolute BS and crap, by the way. It is nonsense. It is ridiculous. And anything that Colin Kaepernick says from here on out, I am not going to believe, because I truly believe that he is a fraud. And we got to go to break, Chris. It was a very heated conversation and a good conversation, but I think most people are on my side on this one, and even you would agree with me.
That on certain aspects, absolutely we're on your side, Ryan.
It was absurd.
We have a couple disagreements.
Yes. Well, guess what? Some people that are going to be listening next hour might have some disagreements with this man, but nothing you can say about Seth Moulton about his heroism. He is a hero. He is a war hero. He also happens to be a Massachusetts congressman, and he's going to be joining us next. He was also a former presidential candidate. What is the latest on the impeachment hearings? And listen, this guy, Patrick Duvall, he's actually in the presidential race. Seth Moulton's in Massachusetts, so we'll get his opinion on that. What do you make of going after witnesses the day they take the stand? Did the president break the law? We'll ask Seth Moulton that and much, much more. The congressman, coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.